Well, turning now to oil markets, the White House is reportedly weighing additional sales from its strategic petroleum reserve to help tamp down fuel prices before the midterms. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Jared Blikre, who's tracking the very latest for us. And Jared, I'm looking at oil prices under significant pressure today. WTI and Brent crude both down. But of course, we did get kind of a preview of this on the back of the OPEC Plus decision. The White House statement did, in fact, come out and say, look, we're going to tap into the reserves again because we expect the prices to go up.
Yes, and that was a controversial decision. OPEC Plus decreasing its production facilities by 2 million barrels per day, very much unexpected. A lot of people thought that was just a blatant shot off the bow toward the U.S. But take a look at crude oil. We see it's down 3.5% today. You take a look at a year-to-date chart, you can still see a bit elevated, but it has been in a steady downtrend since the middle of the year. Now, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve of the U.S., let me put a two-year chart so I can show you. It was standing at about 630 million barrels. That was as of mid last year. So we can just draw a line up. And then we started tapping it. And then we got down to about, let's say, 400 million and change here. Now, what happened, obviously, since the SPR was being tapped, we did see a tremendous rise in prices, not only in crude oil, but of also RBOB gasoline futures. But guess what was happening in the meantime? We had the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which nobody really anticipated. We also had a massive repricing of risk with respect to the Federal Reserve. And after that became apparent, we finally saw prices peak about mid-year here and start to come down. You take a look at RBOB gasoline futures, which closely track the price of gasoline at the pump. Very similar story. So the SPR, when it was tapped mid last year, didn't have an immediate effect, but we did talk with Ed Morse over at Citi. He's head of commodities there. And he said, the administration gets high marks for controlling the price of gasoline, actually the supplies online, but in terms of price controls, not so much. And here's what he had to say.
The history of trying to put a price cap on is not very good. And it's kind of ironic that they're doing this at a time when the producers look at them and say, hey, they're putting on a price cap. We're trying to put a floor under prices. They don't like that. Why should we like them putting a price cap on Russia when they could do the same thing to us if this kind of thing works? So it has mixed grades, I think.
An imperfect mechanism, Akiko. So that's how we see it.
Okay. Something to watch, especially when you consider that the reserves are so low already that they'll have to refill it pretty quickly.
By a third already.
Yeah. Number to watch there. Thanks so much for that, Jared.